my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to today's video, which is going to be another video in my weight loss series, and if you're new here and you don't know what that is, you will find it as a playlist on my channel, and I'm probably going to link it in the cards too. So anyway, we are going to dive into a few more tips and tricks. Something might be a little bit repetitive if you're not new here, but I've gotten under recent videos, I've gotten a few comments and also on social media and private messages, things like, for example, COVID-19 has for me turned into COVID-15, sort of implying that it's the 15 pounds that are being added due to COVID-19, things like that. Or, it's winter where I am right now and that's why I just can't lose weight right now. It's so much easier in the summer, things like that, okay? While I am really super far away from passing judgment, because you know that I fell off the wagon too during COVID-19, and it was really a hard battle to get back to where I'm supposed to be. And I'm never going to say that this is easy, okay? But I want to stretch out like a helping hand, and I want to give you a few of my tips and tricks how I managed, okay? So today is going to be 6 of them. I will of course do more because I think there is a lot that can be said for all of for all of this, and I know that there is a huge need because I don't know how many percent of the world population are considered overweight, but it is a lot, and a lot of people are not cool about it. A lot of people are suffering, and they're even open about the fact that they're suffering, and I was suffering, and even with a little bit more weight compared to other people that I gained during COVID-19, I was suffering. I was super unhappy, and that in return also made me again to turn to food, and that is not healthy, and we don't want to do that. So first of all, let me just say again, and that was also a couple videos back in my weight loss series, I just want to say the single most important thing: stop making excuses. COVID-19 has nothing to do with your weight. Winter has nothing to do with your weight. Holidays have nothing to do with your weight. Birthdays have nothing to do with your weight. Pregnancies have very little to do with your weight. All of this is excuses, sweeties. Let's not do that. Let's just take a moment and step away from that and just see the reality, okay? Because we are, of course we're going to make excuses, And once I realized that all my life I've been making excuses for myself for overeating because I'm so miserable for that reason or circumstances in my life or who knows what, the second I stopped doing that, the second I had the awareness that I was doing it, and I decided from now on I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm really cheating myself here. Nobody else cares. I'm just cheating myself. The second I stopped doing that, I had the victory. So that's why I just wanted to really base this whole video again on this, okay? While again, I'm not passing judgment if you are in the situation where you feel like it's all too hard, you have problems in your job, you have problems in your family, with your spouse, whatever. But sweeties, turning to food is not a solution for any of this. It is just, at the end of the day, going to make you more miserable and probably is going to make you hate yourself more, okay? Because you think that you're a complete failure now. Okay, so let's not do that because it does not solve food. Food is there to nourish you, to build your body, to make you strong, to make you healthy. It is not there to solve your problems. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have to be really strict in these videos because it does not make sense. It doesn't help anyone to beat around the bush because it just doesn't help, I was always like super gentle with myself because I felt like I deserve to overeat because of this and that reason. But was I happy? No. Did any of my problems get solved? No. And it just doesn't make sense. So let's just be adult about this and face it for what it is, face it head on and then deal with the problems that lie underneath. That is basically what we have to do. You have to deal with the problems. If, for example, you do not have a regular rhythm in your day, a life how do you say that? Like breakfast at a normal hour, lunch at a normal hour, dinner at a normal hour, and like everything sort of floats around in thin air, then try to make it work and put some order into your day, you know? And don't like eat meals on crazy hours, because your body is still your body. Your body doesn't understand that your life is upside down. It does not help you to feed yourself the wrong way when everything else is already spiraling out of control. So yeah, just saying that. But that is not even any of what I wanted to say. So let's just go into the 6 points, okay? So first of all, I have stuff written down. I'm very old-fashioned. I'm just writing it down on notepads. But anyway, the first 6 things that I wanted to talk to you about is, well, the first one is drink water. Okay, so that is, of course, self-understood. It should be. But I'm super surprised by what I'm hearing when I'm by myself going to like a therapy group. How many people have problems with drinking water? Just water, not even carbonated, just water, mineral water. That is the single most healthy thing that you can do for yourself, is drinking water, for so many reasons. First of all, of course, because our body is like 60% water, something like that, right? And we need it. We need it for so many things. We need it to flush out toxins. We need it for our digestion. We need it for our breathing. We need it for temperature control in our body. You know, we need it for fighting infections and all kinds of stuff. Also for weight loss, we need to drink water. You know, my therapist, Esther, thank you for being with me in this, because I'm not there. You know, yes, I have reached my weight goal, but I'm always going to be on the journey. So I'm not above you at all, okay? So just saying, Esther, she always brings this amazing picture, or like a symbolic kind of a thing. I don't know how to say it in proper English, where she says, just imagine you have a very dirty room, like a room with a dirty floor. Now take a 10-liter bucket, like a bucket of water, or 10 liters of Coca-Cola, and then try to wash the floor either with the water or with the Coca-Cola or juice or whatever. Now let me know which one cleans the floor better. Obvious, right? It's obvious. It's going to be the water. The water is what really takes care of your body, gets stuff moving in your body, cleans out the toxins and the waste and the whatever, you know, everything. So much is based around water. So if you have a problem drinking water, then you really do have a problem, kinda, you know, because that is such an important thing. And besides all of that, that it is just super healthy, it's also, and I actually wanted to make a separate video on this, but maybe I don't need to if I'm mentioning it now. You know, just imagine the amount of calories you're saving when you're not drinking calories. When you have all the calories that are allotted to you throughout like one day, if you have all of this for eating, instead of having to just like take stuff away that are then going towards the drinks that you're drinking that have calories. For example, milk coffee, like coffee with cream. Calories. Right there, you know, I drink coffee, I drink black coffee. I'm gonna get into this in a second also. But anyway, you know, the whole thing with drinking calories was also something that absolutely turned my whole thing around, my own weight loss game, you know? Because, for example, let me give you a very honest example. Summers in Israel are very long, very long and very hot. And, you know, when my children were a little bit smaller and I was basically watching them for like 2-3 hours each afternoon playing in our front yard, and I was sitting there, I wasn't even eating, but I was drinking probably like 2 iced coffees of that size, which was just like instant coffee, you know, that I had dissolved, and then ice cubes, like not real ice cream, just normal water ice cubes, and then filling it up though with milk. Okay, I love milk. Okay, so just that is probably like 300-400 calories each time. So without even thinking, and with being very proud of myself that I didn't eat anything throughout the whole afternoon till dinner, I had an intake of something like, I don't know, 600 to 800 calories, which is crazy. Like, who wants to waste Calories like this, we cannot afford to waste calories. We need to eat them. We need to give ourselves nourishment and not waste them by drinking them, you know? I mean, if you want to go out with friends and you want to have an iced coffee, or a milk coffee or whatever, here and there, or a cappuccino, then of course you can, you know, but on a regular basis, I would highly, highly suggest that you don't do that, because it's just a waste, you know. Who would want to do that? So once I stopped doing that, first of all, I noticed how the mucus level in my body just went down by so much, because I cut back on the milk. You know, dairy is an issue. I love dairy, okay, but it is an issue that it just increases the whole mucus situation. Sorry for the English, but you know what I mean, in the body, okay? And that also in return also makes it harder for the body to just get rid of stuff. So anyway, the second I started to drink water and have a snack in the afternoon instead, a proper snack, I was doing so much better, you know? So that is the whole thing with drinking water. It is super healthy, and it does not add calories. The second point I want to make is having, first of all, a proper breakfast at the normal hour for a breakfast at the first part of the day, okay? And also have a good protein for your breakfast. Now, I don't know, I cannot really say for people who are maybe having restrictions due to medical conditions and things like this, okay? You have to check that with your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm just generalizing this for healthy people, okay? Also, if I say to you, please drink huge amounts of water, and you cannot do that because you have problems with your kidney or with your heart or with something, then please don't do it, okay? Please check with your own doctor that you can do it. Just have to be safe here. All right, so good protein for breakfast. For example, fish. For example, eggs. For example, but not fried in oil, okay? Let's not do that, okay? Because it's just a waste of calories. Again, eggs, of course, have already sort of a higher amount of calories already, but we don't want to fry them in oil, because oil has so much calories. It's just crazy, you know? And then frying in general is a very unhealthy concept. If you want to have the oil, then have it on a salad as a dressing, right? So anyway, have a healthy protein, which could also be chicken breast, you know? In my religion, we sort of separate between dairy and meat, and then we also have to have a separation. If I had meat, I have to wait 6 hours till I can have dairy again. So, but not everybody has that, and maybe also not everybody feels like having chicken breast for breakfast. I love that. I love that. I could eat meat all day long, you know, chicken or whatever, some kind of lean beef or something like this. I don't care, you know. So, I love to have the proteins like this, you know. Salmon, a very high fat fish, but super good for you, because those fats are really good for you. Of course, you're not supposed to overeat huge portions, but maybe go back, if you're interested, go back to my video that I did recently in my weight loss series about the portion sizes, and then you can really quickly figure out what is the right portion for you to take in. The whole thing of eating slowly is of course also coming in, you know, to play in this, because if you're not eating a huge steak, then you know you have a smaller piece of protein. You want to make it last longer, and you want to enjoy it instead of just stuffing your face. Okay, so anyway, this whole concept of having a good protein for your breakfast, I don't know if you know it from your own experience, but if you skip breakfast, for example, let's make this about me, okay? Because I don't want to put stuff into your mouth, okay? I'm gonna make this about me. When I used to skip breakfast, I felt like the poorest little thing the whole day. The whole rest of the day, I was feeling like I'm lacking, like I don't know, have I eaten, have I not eaten, am I hungry? Yes, of course I'm hungry. Let's you know, I didn't have breakfast, so let's eat double for lunch, or let's eat double for dinner. You know, this whole thing of not having this discipline in your life is not good, because us people, humans, need frameworks. It's really important. We are made like this, okay? So having a breakfast and knowing what you're going to have for breakfast, for example, let's say tuna, let's say tuna, whatever, or salmon, or eggs. then just have some fresh vegetables with it, even, or have a slice of bread with it, whatever, but have a good nutritious meal for breakfast. That will settle you for the whole day. I promise you, if you sit down and take your time and eat and have awareness that you're sitting down and you're eating, plus having a good quality, healthy protein, this will make you feel so much better. When I'm not having proteins, sometimes that happens that I'm just eating, some rice cakes and, some vegetables, because for whatever reason it has happened, okay? I feel like after an hour or an hour and a half, I feel hungry again. But if I have a protein, a nice proper protein, I do not feel that, and I'm lasting so much longer, So I'm not, of course, saying that if you have that breakfast, you should then starve yourselves for like 5-6 hours. Of course, you deserve to have a snack after like 2.5 or 3 hours. But usually, like when I didn't eat my proper protein, I didn't even last that long. After cleaning up the breakfast table, I was already like going around the kitchen and thinking, oh, what else could I eat? And that is not the feeling that you should have once you get up from your table. One more thing that I want to add in that regard is the closer you are to nature in your protein, the better. And let me give you an example. For example, I love cheese, I love dairy, I already told you, okay? But that is already one step removed from nature. Of course, dairy comes from a cow or from a goat or from whatever animal, buffaloes or I don't know what. So anyway, the thing is that the closer you are to the natural state, and I'm not saying eating raw meat, I'm just saying that you should maybe eat the meat instead of drinking the milk, because the meat is closer to the original state of the nature. If you can handle this, okay? Of course, if you don't want to eat meat for breakfast, I totally get it. I don't feel like doing it all the time anyway, but that is usually just because my family is totally turned off by the smell of meat in the morning. But anyway, I used to, on every meal, just have some vegetables and some cheese to have a protein. But the thing is that the second I got the suggestion from Esther, from my therapist, to be closer to nature, for example, like comparing eggs and chickens, the chicken is of course a step ahead of the egg. So it's better to eat the chicken than the egg, but it's nothing wrong to eat the egg. I'm just saying that if you can make yourself go there to eat the original product, sort of, it is better for you. And that is also what happened for me, again, that I felt so much more satisfied. Just, I don't know if it was mentally or if it's really actually in my body, but I felt so much more satisfied for so much longer. And also my weight loss game just sped up, even like without me making a huge effort. This whole combination of being satisfied for longer and also to be closer to nature in the protein that I'm eating just like did a huge big deal for me, So that was that. If you hear my kids, they're being really loud right now, so sorry. Okay, we're still summer vacationing here, and yeah, we have to deal with that. Okay, so let's go to number 3, and that is black coffee and green tea. Now, that is, of course, caffeinated drinks, okay? I know that, and not everybody can take that. But if you want to drink coffee, try to drink black coffee without sugar and without cream, so it has no calories, and the same thing goes, of course, for the tea. The thing with the caffeine is that it is increasing your metabolism, and that is a good thing because you want your metabolism to work harder for you, right? You can do that also, of course, with exercising, and with like drinking water also increases the metabolism, but of course coffee and black coffee and green tea does that like big time, okay? Just be aware that you have to add more water to your diet if you're healthy, okay? If you're healthy, you have to add, like, for every cup of coffee, you have to add at least a cup of water also, because these things that have caffeine will also have a diuretic effect, and you do not want to take water away from your body that your body needs for other things. All right, so that was number 3. Number 4, intermittent fasting. I do that every single day. Okay, so let me explain to you. If you have a nice time span between your last meal of the day and the first meal of the next day, your body actually gets to deal with what's going on in your body, you know, with digestion, yes, but also with detoxing and resetting everything in your body. Because if you're constantly eating and if you're constantly snacking, your body will always have at least a part of the strength that it has and the tension that it has dealing with that, with digestion and dealing with like moving it through your body and getting the right nutritions to the right place and all of these things. Now, if you are, for example, finished eating at 6:30 in the evening and then you eat your breakfast at 7 in the morning or whenever you're eating your breakfast, then you have hours and hours of your body just being on reset mode, which is amazing. And that is another thing where your body just starts to sort of appreciate the food more. Okay, maybe there might be a learning curve involved, because in the beginning, for someone who is used to constantly snacking, there might be a learning curve, as I just said, that you have to get used to this fact and like not be scared of it. Because people like me who constantly have to have food around are like really, really getting anxious with the feeling or when they have the feeling that there is no food right now. Okay, but you get used to it. And then just go to bed earlier, you know, don't stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, because that gives you like the 6 hours or how many hours after your dinner that you have to fill with something. And then what do? You're going to turn to food at some point. And if it is like a package of, I don't know, nuts or chips in front of the TV, right? So I would highly, highly recommend that to you. I'm eating my dinner around 6:30, at the very latest at 7 o'clock in the evening, sometimes even earlier, depending on how, you know, how it's going in my house. But and then after that, I'm finished. The only thing I do is drinking water if I want to, you know, but that is really a thing that is so good. So good. If you can take it, if you don't have like diabetes and you need your little meals in order to keep your insulin stable and stuff like that. I'm just talking about in like a healthy person, okay? Also, what I forgot to mention when I spoke about the first point about the drinking water, that it is super good if you fill yourself up with water in the hour or 1.5 hours leading up to a meal. Because, sweeties, let me tell you, the reception centers or the receptors in your brain for being thirsty and for being hungry are like this. They're twins. They're like super close to each other. Okay, sorry, I had to just interrupt for a tiny little bit because my kids were like really climbing up the walls and spinning out of control. So yeah, you probably heard them, and if not, then just take my word for it. Okay, so we were talking about those receptors for hunger and thirst. Okay, so they're located really close in our brains next to each other. And I don't know why it is, but people have to learn again that thirst is thirst and can only be solved by drinking, and hunger is hunger and can only be solved by eating. But for some reason, when we feel thirsty, we do not recognize it as being thirsty anymore, but we eat instead, which is, of course, it doesn't help. It does not help, you know? So the thing is, if you fill yourself up with water or tea or something, like even herbal teas or something before you eat, then of course you will already have the feeling that you're fuller. You will eat, as a result of that, studies have shown that people who do that eat 40% less throughout the whole day. 40% less, you know? And if you're used to overeating, then that will be a huge amount of food that you might be able to eat less during the day. Okay, so that is the thing, you know, you can first of all make yourself feel fuller, especially if you drink something warm. You will have already the feeling that you have something warm in your body, which always suggests the feeling of satisfaction and like warmth and, you know, something nice and comfortable, and you know, you fill in the blanks. That will be super helpful. Now I personally still drink during my meals. It is a whole new level then for people that they start to not drink during the meals, because then you dilute the digestive juices. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I will ever be. I don't know if it is super necessary for me to be there, at least as of right now. But that would be then, of course, a next step maybe. But I'm just saying, it is maybe not the most important thing that you do not eat during the meals. But I know a lot of people who do that and who are absolutely convinced that that is the way to do it. And it sort of makes sense from a scientific perspective when you look at it, right? But anyway, that is what it is. I wanted to quickly point out that it would be super, super helpful if you would just fill up on water before, like an hour or so before you start eating your meals. Number 5, we're almost done, sweeties. I know these videos always get super long. Number 5 is using small plates and cutlery. Now that might sound really, really strange to you, but when I did my super big weight loss of 60 kilos at like a couple of years ago, I did that because I had absolutely no portion control. Nothing helped. Nothing helped. You know, I wanted to have the feeling that I can take seconds, maybe even a third time I can load up my plate. And of course, just imagine if you have a dinner plate and you do that, the amounts of food that you're eating just in one meal, right? So I started to not even just have a breakfast plate, but for some time in the beginning, in order to just make the volume of my stomach go back down and like get like back to a normal level, I ate from a teacup plate. I don't know what the official term is, you know. It is of course like a plate that is that small, and I ate, back then my kids were of course also much smaller, I ate with a fork that was from like my kids, like from baby forks. Small, okay? But the thing is that it does so much for your brain, because your face or your eyes are still recognizing a full plate. Your brain does not necessarily see at like the first glance that this is a very small plate. It sees that the plate is full. And that is the satisfaction that a big person, an overeating person needs. I have a very full plate and I know that I can take more. I can have another full plate. Even if you have 5 or 6 full plates of these little ones, which I don't suggest you should do, but just saying, you would still eat much less than eating from big plates that you fill up 3 times, right? So that is super, super helpful. I promise you, try it, and then also put the cutlery down between each bite. I think I have mentioned that already in one of my videos, that is also something that when you're holding the cutlery, or just holding it also very close to your mouth, like when you're eating soup and you go like this all the time, or eating anything else, you're basically just like dumping the food down your throat, maybe even not chewing at all. That is of course a whole issue on its own, and you're just eating much faster, and as a result of that you're eating more, and the body will have a much harder time to deal with what you're giving it, because it's basically in big chunks and you're supposed to chew your food. That's why God has given you teeth. Okay, so the best thing is, first of all, to have smaller cutlery, at least in the beginning. You do not have to do that all the time. You do not have to do it when you're going out for dinner in a restaurant, right? But when you're at home in the setting of your family where there's hopefully no judgment, then just try it. Try it, it will help you. It definitely helped me. I was using the small fork and I was eating slowly. I was putting it down between the bites, and sometimes I even sat on my hands. You know, I was like putting them under my behind like that, which you can see because the camera doesn't go there, but just believe me, I'm sitting on my hands right now, you know, and that is what I did in order to like be a bit more in control of this whole out of control situation. Okay, so that is another tool that absolutely helped me, and as in everything that I'm saying here, I'm just sharing what helped me. Okay, so please feel free to try. The last thing that I wanted to say is keep healthy snacks around you no matter what. If you have watched my life update video last week, then you must have seen that I announced there that I have reached my weight goal. I have now successfully lost all the weight that I had gained throughout the last year, but especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm super glad about this, and I'm super proud of myself, and I'm just like super energized also by this, and very encouraged, and I just want this to spill over and maybe also encourage you a little bit. So while I was there on that evening in my therapy group, where it sort of got confirmed that I had reached my weight goal, people asked me, like, what do you do though? Like, what do you do when you go out? What do you do with the kids? What do you do if you get hungry and like there's no food around, like nothing healthy, you know? And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't understand. There is always food around. It does not come as a surprise that you will get hungry or that you will have appetite. That's a different thing altogether, right? But you have to take all of that in consideration, and you have to have a battle plan. You know, this is a battle. It is. You know, for me, my weight loss, and for most people, I'm sure it is a battle every single day, every minute of every day. And it is a decision that you have to make every single time you put something in your mouth, that this is something good, that is valuable for you, what you're putting into your mouth. When I'm starting my day, I know exactly what I'm going to eat throughout the day. I may not have the complete plan of, like, in the evening I'm going to serve myself this and this and this exactly, but I know I have all kinds of food that would work. Okay, because sometimes also my appetite changes during the evening or something, and I feel more like eating this compared to like instead of that or whatever, you know. So I don't want this to be like super crazy that there is no room for movement anymore. Okay, but still there is not a surprise that you will get hungry, and you have to know that. You have to be prepared for that. For me, I'm giving you another example out of my life. For me, the hardest day is Fridays. Fridays is super hard because I spend basically the whole day preparing meals for Shabbat. On Shabbat, if you don't know, in like a Jewish religious home, you do not cook, so everything has to be prepared before. All meals, including till like Saturday evening, right? Everything has to sort of be ready. So that means that I am spending my day cooking, which means that I'm a lot in the kitchen, and I'm dealing with a lot of food, and also with foods that I am not eating because my family is not really following my plans, you know what I mean? So, which is also a thing that we should talk about. But anyway, so that is what it is. Now, I know that I'm going to be incredibly tempted to taste here and taste there and just sneak in a bite here and just see if this is done, or if, you know, whatever, is there enough seasoning on it, something like this. And that will add up to a lot of calories and a lot of snacking. And then you will sit down, for example, for lunch. If you have been cooking like in the morning hours, you will sit down for lunch and you will not feel like you ate anything, but you have an intake of calories of like 400 additional calories just from tasting foods here and there. So I have taught myself to do a lot without tasting the food. Either I'll call my kids or my husband to taste the food for me and say if it's okay, or if they're not around, which has not happened for a long time because of course we have been together now for months and months, like basically since the pandemic hit. There is like, I'm never alone. Okay, so there is always someone there who can taste the food for me. Plus, if there is nobody there, I'll just do it like, you know, approximately, and nobody has ever complained. There's always like salt and pepper on the table. Worst case, people can add whatever. So it's not like you're going to turn into a bad cook if you do not taste everything, you know. Also, sometimes when I'm tasting, for example, a piece of pasta, if it's well done, then I just bite it, feel the texture, and then I spit it out. You do not have to eat stuff that you are not willing to eat just because you are the one who cooks the stuff, you know? So we can also, for example, you can taste the gravy and then spit it out, you know? Or just take like a tiny little bit on a teaspoon. You do not have to taste the gravy with a big serving spoon or with even like a normal tablespoon. So let's just be smart about that, and let's not add calories, okay? But what I do in this whole thing, because I will feel like eating and I know it, I will have a lot of raw vegetables that are very low calorie right there on my kitchen island. So that is going to be cucumbers, that's going to be cherry tomatoes, that's going to be I don't know, all kinds of stuff that has really small calorie content. And then I feel like if I really have this feeling that I need to eat something now in order to feel okay, then at least I can turn to that and still feel proud of myself and still feel okay, and not having done something to my body that I will regret. Now, with all of that, I don't want to tell you that you should feel bad about yourselves. You know, I know that all of these rules and all of these suggestions might make people feel like I'm pushing you into something that you don't want, or, you know, this is too hard, whatever. Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. It all depends though on how much you want to be normal weight. For me, once I had realized the whole no more excuses thing, this whole idea, or this whole yearning for being a normal weight for like once in my life, you know, that became so prominent and so important that I didn't care. Like, do I care about chocolate cake? No, I don't. It's not important to me. Do I care about ice cream? Well, during COVID-19, I kind of did a little bit for like 3 weeks. But you know what? After my sugar detox, all of these things are not important to me anymore. They don't call to me anymore. Plus, if they do, I can say, you go away from me. You go away from me, because I'm the one who makes the decisions. You know, my head is making decisions, not my cravings. I'm making the decisions here because I am the ruler here. You know, I'm the one who is in charge of this body right now while I'm here on this earth. This body has been placed into my care, and I'm the one who makes the decisions here, not my cravings, not other people who tell me something that that I should eat this now, or I should taste this because they made it and they will be insulted if I don't. And you know what? Things like this at the end of the day are not important. People will learn really, really fast that you are strict and that you are consequent. This one say that you're not playing around anymore, that this is important to you, and they will respect you for it. Okay, I just the other day I was giving a speech about my weight loss journey, and I was giving an example about me eating in my in-laws house. And of course, you know how it is when you go to someone else's home. No matter who it is, you will want to be polite, you want to eat the food, whatever, you know. And I actually brought my own food. And yes, that is a bit of it's a problem. It is a problem, but I will also not tell the hostess that she has to make this and that food for me, you know? So I told them in the beginning, like before we made the deal that we are going to be invited for dinner, that I will bring my own food. And in the case of family, you can even add, you know, this has nothing to do with me loving you less. It has to do with myself loving myself more. You know, not more than you, but I'm responsible for myself, and this is what I'm doing right now, and there is no room for negotiation. But that is only if you want it, okay? So if that is important enough for you, that you want it that much, that you will not like wiggle anymore, then that is what you're going to do, and this is when you have your big success. If you want to wiggle a little bit, you will still have success. It's just going to come slower. I'm not saying that you're not getting there if you're not as strict as I am. Okay, like I said, I don't want to like push all my rules down your throats, but because there is such a big interest, and because people are asking me so much about how you did this and all of that, I'm just saying this is what I did. This is exactly what I did, and you can of course feel free to take it or leave it, you know, or maybe just take a few things and try them out for a little bit, and then maybe next time you can tell me if it worked for you. So that is it for today. I was like, that was a long video again, so sorry sweeties, but that's what it is. These videos, there is just so much in it that we have to talk about, and of course there will be more of these kinds of videos here on my channel. So if you like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you here. Plus I'm also doing a lot of other things on my channel, which is of course, yeah, lifestyle that you just saw, also in general about my rescue animals, and also wrapping tutorials, a lot of makeup content. I'm a beauty and lifestyle channel, so please feel free to check out everything. You might be surprised how versatile we are here and how loving this place is. So if you're up for that, then please subscribe to my channel. And besides that, I hope that you're really blessed by this series. Please give me your feedback in the comments, and let me know how you're doing. Okay, so I will see you here next time for my next video, which is going to be super soon. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.